Hello everyone, my name is Serta, and today I will be refuting a speech by one of our classmates. The topic pertains to alcohol behavior and alcohol legislature. Her claim is that having the drinking age at 21 endangered those who partake in drinking. Her first claim is that having the drinking age at 21 endangers those who partake in risky behavior. Some of her claims are that TV commercials encourage drinking, TV commercials create the desire to drink, and that commercials create a fantasy of drinking. However, if you analyze most commercials, they don't generally do any of that. For example, Budweiser and Corona, they normally just have people enjoying just a single sipping a beverage. On the other hand, they don't show any overconsumption like what takes place in most college campuses. In fact, at the end of each commercial, they end up with a statement that says, drink responsibly. In that same claim, she also presents that Mothers Against Drunk Drivers claim that 48% of university students participate in underage drinking. Even if the age is lowered to the 18, the 48% will statistically go down, but nonetheless, the drinking will still remain. Instead, I claim that drinking awareness programs should be provided and should be promoted to alleviate some of those problems. For example, in 2002, the University of Connecticut adopted a successful alcohol EDU program on campus, and that eliminated their incidence by about 39% in about 4 years. Her second claim was that the U.S. is one of the few countries within the drinking age of 21. Her evidence that she presented was that 98% of 123 countries have a drinking age of 18 or lower. The information supporting this claim is merely factual data, and I thought that it was very underdeveloped. The lack of early awareness puts us at a disadvantage because eventually what becomes of alcohol is that it's treated as a forbidden fruit, and that we tend, as Americans, tend to overindulge when we can. The third point is that help is not called in time of need due to the fear of being caught. She brings out an example of the case of the University of Colorado at Boulder, where a student not only overconsumed at a frat and eventually died of alcohol poisoning. However, such cases are instances requiring educated judgments and moral reasoning. What should have been asked in that time is, should I risk getting punished or risk the life of a human being? Additionally, I think that she also presented some on her fact that when she related the drinking age of other countries, she failed to note that most European countries, which she was comparing to, have a lower drinking age, but they're not as dependent on cars as we are. We are essentially a car-driven society. And as one of our professors at Cal Poly Pomona, who teaches wines and spirits, quoted, in Europe, they drink and they go from pub to pub, and they don't have to drive miles like we do. And that's essentially one of the main problems. And I think that in conclusion, in order to alleviate such a problem, instead of just lowering the age, we should promote healthy drinking habits and encourage the designated driver system. Because overall, I think that if the age limit gets dropped down to 18, we still won't have a way to mitigate most of the damage that will occur in drinking. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, the topics identified, the secondary claims are identified. You've got some information about drinking that's brought up. It sounds like you are challenging something in the commercials, for instance, but you've got a very hypothetical example. I do think there's probably some legitimate point that they're not promoting, you know, the binge drinking like they have in college campuses. You know, but the notion that people are motivated by what they see in the advertising, you know, kind of makes the assumption that drinking at any age is appropriate, or that there's no effect of the law. And I think that you need to demonstrate that there is some effect from having the law at that particular age. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's 100% effective, but if it reduces drinking by some degree, that there is a potential benefit for it. I think your argument about the MAD statistic is the right one, that we would not have so much illegal underage drinking, primarily because it wouldn't be illegal anymore, but it wouldn't change the amount of drinking. I think there's a good place where you should have some information that suggests, in fact, drinking at a younger age would likely increase if we were to make that change. It's a semi-policy argument that you're developing there, and it needs a little bit more information. The alcohol education program, well, that's a good thing. I'm not exactly sure how it addresses the advocate's point on this. Everybody's for effective alcohol education, whether the drinking age is at 18 or 21. So, you know, would it decrease people's consumption? Does it eliminate some of the things that are problematic? You've got one example where it has some potential benefits, but I'm not exactly sure, like I said, that it's mutually exclusive with anything that the advocate's presenting. The signpost on the second point, you know, you just identify what the claim is. It seems to me that you're pretty much accepting the forbidden fruit concept here and suggesting that the advocate is correct on this position, that we drink because we want to, because we see it as being something that's prohibited, it's a way of rebelling, you know, that kind of thing. You later on, you kind of jump back to that point and make a comparison to the European countries. I was surprised that we didn't get any data on whether or not there are drinking problems in the European countries. There's a lot of people who say, well, they don't have the same kinds of problems that they have in Europe. You're talking, or they don't have the same kinds of problems in Europe that they have here. And your primary argument on this point, I think, is about the driving issue. But if you do a little bit of research, I suspect that you'd find that there's a, you know, it's not all that great to have people throwing up on you on the bus as they're crawling from pub to pub, and that there are, in fact, some potential issues about drinking at younger ages in the other countries, but there's no development of information on that point. And then on the third point about people not seeking help in those situations, they've got the one example. You make a respectable challenge on this, you know, that this is a risk assumption that people are making, and they've made a poor moral choice in this particular situation. The notion that it's linked to age, I think, is largely asserted in the original point, and I think you need a stronger response on that point. All right, thank you.